Hello and welcome to Kent Tonight, live here on KMTV. I'm Finn McDermott and here are your top stories on Friday, the 30th of January. Solar farm decision delay as dozens protest proposed new ash green development.
When did electricity become more important than actually feeding people on our best farmlands?
No signal. Schools across Kent and the country are set to go phone free under new government guidance.
There's definitely a much higher engagement in lessons. We know that students aren't distracted in any way.
And hear ye, have you got what it takes to be Sheppey's next top town crier? But your top story tonight. Dozens descended on Sevenoaks District Council over a solar farm that locals say will destroy the character of New Ash Green. Evolution Power say the scheme will create energy for tens of thousands and won't significantly damage the landscape. But the planning committee had concerns about heritage and public health. Our local democracy reporter Ollie Leader was at the packed-out meeting last night.
Sevenoaks planning meetings don't normally get a turnout like this. A testament to the real anger in New Ash Green over a proposed solar farm development that would encompass 235 acres of land. This field beside me has been earmarked for development. Evolution Power say it will help produce energy for more than 17,000 households. But local opposition here is far less convinced of the benefits to them or their way of life.
Well, it's a complete destruction of the green belt, and for farmers in the area, it's a loss of livelihood and loss of food production into the food chain.
When did electricity become more important than actually feeding people on our best farmland?
Councillors on the chamber floor were left equally unconvinced, with concerns about fire risks and public health, all being floated under the watchful eye of a packed public gallery. But planning is quasi-judicial. The decisions made here have to be backed up by evidence, with consultee organisations like the Environment Agency not raising any serious concerns.
This site is considered grey belt, and the proposal does not constitute inappropriate development in the green belt, and therefore causes no harm to the green belt.
The committee may have originally voted to reject the scheme, but with evidence in mind, they eventually settled for delaying a final decision in order to seek expert advice.
Proceedings were clear, and a clear decision was made to refuse the application. I don't believe there is any further debate that needs to be done.
Rejecting the decision risks a costly appeal for taxpayers. Evolution Power have made clear that if the committee can't find a legally sound reason for the project not to go ahead, it must be approved. But local councillors say this is a first step to stopping the scheme.
Well, in a way it's disappointing for it to be deferred, but we got a thorough,
Tunbridge MP Tom Tugendhat has had his sanctions from China lifted after Prime Minister Keir Starmer attended a state visit. The Conservative MP faced sanctions in 2021 after accusing China of human rights violations against the Uyghur community, which China has denied. As a consequence, he was banned from entering China, Hong Kong and Macau, as well as doing business with China and its citizens. And Megan Shaw joins me to talk us through the story now. So, Meg, we heard that Tom Tugendhat is no longer banned from China. Take us back to the start. How did this actually happen in the first place?
Absolutely. So in 2021, 9 British citizens were banned from China. That included 2 members of the House of Lords and 5 Conservative MPs, one of which is the MP for Tonbridge, that's Tugendhat. So these citizens face sanctions from China after speaking out about violations or so-called violations against Uyghurs. So Uyghurs are a Turkic ethnic group. They're predominantly Muslim and are a recognised ethnic minority in China. They've faced persecution for many years. China has actually been accused of committing crimes against humanity city. Some groups even going so far as to accuse the country of genocide, although the state denies all accusations of human rights abuses. And Tugendhat has spoken out against the treatment of these individuals. It was subsequently banned, as you said, from China, Hong Kong and Macau, and the ban also included stopping Chinese citizens and institutions from doing business with him.
I see we saw some pictures of Tom Tugendhat there. Now, this has been announced during Prime Minister Keir Starmer's state visit to China. What else could be on the cards between the two nations going into the future?
Of course, so as you said, this week Starmer was on a visit to China to meet the president over there, that's Xi Jinping, which Tom Tugendhat actually condemned that visit from the Prime Minister as well. And this is the first UK Prime Minister to visit China since Theresa May did so in 2018, and Xi Jinping was quite eager to prove that China could be a strong trading partner for the UK, as of course tensions are still quite high between the UK and the White House and the US president over there over things like Greenland. So many deals were agreed over there, and crucially, for people who might have China on their holiday bucket list, the two countries actually came to an agreement over scrapping visas for British citizens wanting to visit China for up to 30 days. That's for business and for pleasure. So before, you need to pay quite a bit of money to visit China. Now, if it's less than 30 days, you won't need to just to get your visa. Another thing on the cards was that it was a great day for Scottish distilleries, as China agreed to halve tariffs on Scottish whisky, and which the government in the UK actually predicted that could generate £250 million for the UK. So I would say, you know, lots of things were agreed there.
I see. Well, thank you so much for bringing us all the latest on this, Meg. Next, it is 10 years ago to the day since the Dover protests that turned the town centre into a battlefield. A decade on, some traders say Dover's reputation has never fully recovered from the horrendous scenes. Pandemonium erupted on Saturday, January 30th, back in 2016, as a far-right march, countered by so-called anti-fascists, descended into violence on Dover's streets. Stones, bottles and bricks were hurled along Effingham Street and Folkestone Road, and they stormed the Dover Discovery Centre, home to the town's library. 64 people were convicted, with prison sentences totalling 85 years. Next, a man will face trial after denying causing the death of an 89-year-old by dangerous driving. Dental surgeon Tom Wallace died on the A289 Gads Hill in Gillingham at around 12 p.m. on December in a hit-and-run crash. Today at Maidstone Crown Court, Albert Matriju admitted a lesser charge of causing his death by careless driving, but denied dangerous driving. Prosecutor Ryan Richter said this was unacceptable and called for a trial. Judge Julian Smith accepted this, and a 5-day trial was set for July 13th on the dangerous driving charge. Next, schools across Kent and the rest of the country are set to follow new government guidance requiring pupils to remain phone-free throughout the entire school day. The Education Secretary Bridget Phillipson announced this earlier this week. Under the guidance, mobile phones should no longer be used as calculators or for research during lessons, and as well, they shouldn't be used during break times or lunch times. Teachers have also been advised not to use their phones in front of pupils, and Maisie Walker has more on the story.
Education Secretary Bridget Phillipson has said that all schools in England should comply with new government guidance by banning mobile phones for the entire school day. It's expected for Ofsted to be inspecting schools on the administration of their mobile phone policies going forward, with teachers also being advised not to use their phones in front of pupils. Since introducing a smartphone ban in October, a school in Sevenoaks has seen students reportedly benefit, according to staff.
That there is enough research now that shows the detrimental effect of social media, of the reliance of mobile phones on young people's mental health, how addictive they can be, how they can affect students' sleep patterns. There's definitely a much higher engagement in lessons. We know that students aren't distracted in any way. We know that their mobile phone is not a device that they're going to think about or want to check, because they can't. And we've seen a massive decline in the amount of communication we're getting in school. People bringing things like cyberbullying to us, or social media bullying that's happening maybe in and around school time, maybe just before school or just after school. We've seen a huge reduction in that.
The initiative works by requiring students to place their mobile phones into sealed magnetic pouches at the start of the school day, preventing access during lessons and social time. At the end of every school day, students will walk down this path and be met with devices such as this. It will be opened and they'll be able to pop their phone out of its pocket. But does this initiative have widespread support across Kent?
Well, I would say the schools where access to phones is freer is where they're having more problems.
Oh gosh, not schools, definitely not schools. I think parents do have a lot of responsibility. After all, we're supposed to be preparing children for the world out there.
Just, I think 16 is a bit is old enough for the children to make decisions for themselves. My opinion.
The most concerning things is not necessarily that young people are picking up phones and looking at information. I think it is the mental health effect on some of that stuff that they're getting access to. These algorithms are so clever now, and you don't even know if what you're being fed is real or not real. And I think the effect of that is not just information overload, but some of the material feeds into insecurities. And I think really for me, it's not about banning something, and it shouldn't really be a freedom issue at this point. We've got an issue, we've got a challenge where we need to start really helping young people with their mental health. And I think this gives us a breather.
As phone-free policies are rolled out and enforcement becomes a focus for inspections, schools may start to see changes in the classroom. But whether these measures deliver lasting improvements remains to be seen. Maisie Walker for KMTV, Sevenoaks.
Now it's time for a quick break, but don't go anywhere. Madonna said that Margate is her idea of heaven, and I'll be doing tryouts for the new Sheppey Town Crier. All that and more after this short break. Hello and welcome back to Kent Tonight, live here on KMTV. Now, an arsonist has been sentenced to prison for setting fire to Get Ready Comics in Rochester High Street. Ziggy Mantas was already subject to a suspended sentence order when he targeted the shop in the early hours of the 26th of August. The 31-year-old former university student used what was said to be a fire starter kit to ignite the blaze at the front entrance of the store before stepping back to watch as it rapidly took hold and spread. He was sentenced to a 2-year prison term for the arson offence and a 12-month consecutive sentence for his SSO breach. Next, Madonna has called Margate her idea of heaven. This is following her latest visit to the seaside town. The global pop star was spotted at the Grazrus off-season event, which takes place in art studios and warehouses across the town. The 67-year-old is known to be friends with Dame Tracy Emin, the world-renowned artist who hails from the town. This week, Madonna shared pictures of her visit with Dame Tracy, who she referred to as a pearl. The American singer, songwriter, record producer and actress has scooped multi-platinum albums during her career, as well as 7 Grammy Awards. Now for some sports news, Gillingham's manager Gareth Ainsworth looks forward to the visit of the League Two leaders Bromley at Priestfield Stadium. Gillingham FC are preparing for their battle against Bromley this Saturday, who have been on an unstoppable streak of 10 unbeaten games and winning 8 of those. The Gills manager gave credit to the opposition, saying they're right up there at the top of the league for a reason. They've done brilliantly this season. The Gills have 20 games left to climb back into the promotional mix, and they start the weekend 8 points off the top 7. And tonight sees the return of a KMTV staple, Kent Chronicles, the show all about history through the ages and across the county. You can tune into the show tonight at 7 p.m. here on KMTV as it returns with a brand new team working on the show. I caught up with one of the show's presenters, Lucy Keane, earlier to hear about what they've got in store. So, Lucy, for anyone who hasn't heard of Kent Chronicles before, can you give them a brief rundown of what the show's all about?
Yeah, definitely. So we take viewers on a journey back through time, and we cover topics from the medieval era to the Industrial Revolution. So it's got something for everyone to enjoy.
Brilliant. And what can viewers expect on tonight's show?
Well, we're actually starting off on a bit more of a dark historical tone, where we explore the theme of executions and rebellions. We have 4 different exciting sections where we go through a town through time, long-standing landmarks, periodic profiles, and also tea time trivia.
Brilliant. Are there any moments in the show that you particularly enjoy or you think viewers would really like without any spoilers?
Well, yeah, I think the best thing about it is there's something for everyone to indulge in and enjoy. Whether you like to learn more about the history of people, places or relics even, and we'll cover that in upcoming episodes. Also, for fans of game shows and quizzes, we have our section of Tea Time Trivia, which can test your historical knowledge.
Brilliant. And tell me a little bit more about some of the upcoming themes you've got. Obviously, you're starting on a bit of a darker tone with the executions and rebellions, but what can viewers expect in the future?
Yes, so in honour of Valentine's Day, we're actually going to focus that week on love throughout the ages, where we delve deep into love, what love was like in the past compared to what it's like today. So, yeah.
Brilliant. Can't wait to see it. And thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you.
You can catch the show at 7 p.m. But for now, a look at the weather. It's looking like light rain across the county tonight. Mild temperatures of around 8 degrees, some moderate winds of around 15 miles per hour. Into tomorrow morning, the rain expected to clear up with some sunny spells, temperatures dropping to 7 degrees. Tomorrow evening, still slightly cloudy, temperatures rising slightly to around 9 degrees. Those winds aren't going anywhere, staying at around 11 miles per hour. And finally, your outlook for the coming days. Sunday, mostly cloudy, temperatures around 10. Monday, mostly the same, temperatures dropping slightly. And Tuesday, that rain returning, temperatures staying the same. Now, don't forget you can keep up to date with all your latest stories across Kent by logging on to our website, that's kmtv.co.uk. There you'll find all our reports, including this one about an animal sanctuary reopening to visitors after a temporary closure linked to an outbreak of bird flu.
Taking to the skies is usually a regular task for birds like bald eagle phoenix, but an outbreak of avian flu has meant she's had to stay grounded for a few months. Great Britain became an avian influenza prevention zone in November, with the Department for Environment, Food and Rural Affairs applying mandatory measures to house birds inside. 4 sites in Kent saw infection towards the end of 2025, prompting Eagle Heights Wildlife Foundation to take the difficult decision to close to visitors to safeguard the animals, keeping Crystal Palace celebrity Phoenix on his perch for now.
We've been open now for coming up on 30 years. It's actually our 30th anniversary this year, so we're very excited about that. We are here to give people a good day out and be entertaining, but mostly we are here to look after the animals. And that's our number one priority when it really comes down to it. And having these birds out and about, obviously once they're out, we are in control of them in terms of their training, but we're not in control of exactly where they go. They're in the trees, they're going off on the roofs and wherever they really feel like landing. And that gets them in contact with all sorts of wild bird influence, mostly, what other wild birds poop, to put it bluntly. And that is the number one transmitter of avian influenza.
But tomorrow, the foundation will reopen following confirmation there have been no recent local outbreaks and after a negative avian flu result of a deceased wild bird found on site.
Without proper precautions, it's getting more and more real, to be honest. Bird flu has always been a thing. It's always been around. It comes and goes every winter. But we've never had serious cases this far south, at least not for a very long time. So it's become scarier and scarier, really, as it goes on. And with proper precautions and some hard decisions, you can be pretty safe. But without that, we could have been in trouble.
While the centre will be reopening for visitors from tomorrow, some of the bird-related attractions will remain closed to protect the safety of the wildlife here.
We are still going to be keeping the birds locked down a little bit for now until we can have the housing order lifted, which is going to allow us to then be able to do our flying displays again and bring the birds out for more regular exercise and all back to normality. So we are reopening, but with still some restrictions in place to keep them safe.
As the foundation preps the animals for socialising, they say they're looking forward to seeing the birds take flight once again. Chloe Brewster for KMTV in Ainsford.
Now, for years, Sheerness residents haven't heard the yell of a hear ye or the ringing of the crier's bells, but that's set to change as tryouts to select a town crier for a month-long culture and history festival will begin at Bluetown Criterion Museum in Sheerness on Saturday this February. Now, today I'm pleased to say I'm joined by Jenny Herkett. She's the founder of the Heritage Centre, and prospective town crier Ray Seeger. Thank you so much for joining us. First of all, could you tell us a bit about what exactly a town crier is, the role and the history? I'll come to you first, Jenny. What exactly can we expect?
Well, before social media and other things, that's how people found out what was going on. So we thought, as it's a heritage festival, we'll try the old ways as well. So the idea is that any information would be shared with someone with a very loud voice and a commanding presence.
Ray, I can see you smiling there. What prompted you to put yourself forward?
I've always been known for someone who can project their voice, and when this was first mooted, Jenny was immediately on the phone to me to say, "Ray, you're going to put your name forward for the audition," and I've gone, "Yes," but at the time I didn't realise it was an audition. I thought I was in.
I see. How did it feel receiving the phone call, basically saying you're the loudest man on the aisle?
I couldn't believe it. I know people will tell you I am quite loud, but yeah.
Brilliant. And Jenny, tell us a little bit more about the actual on-the-day auditions. How many judges will there be on the panel? Talk us through how it's going to look.
So we've got the Mayor of Swale, Mayor of Queenborough, and then 3 other people. And so the idea is that we will give them a proclamation to read out and have a little chat with everyone, and then let them decide who they're going to be.
OK, brilliant. And tell me a bit more about the wider festival I mentioned earlier. What can we expect there, and why is it necessary to have a town crier during that festival?
Well, such a lot goes on Sheppey, but people don't realise it. And we are an island, so it's not just a town, it's a whole island is having its town crier. And the idea is to actually put a spotlight on everything that happens on Sheppey. Just in 1 month, we chose June, and there is such a lot going on. So it would be fun to have somebody who can actually help us promote that in a fun way.
Brilliant. And Ray, I don't want to put you on the spot here. Could you give us a bit of a preview of your audition? I'm aware there's a script we have.
Yes. I don't know where is the script?
I have a script with me, if you want a script.
If that's all right.
Okay. I am aware that I may need
to
tone it down
to our viewers at home, I've been warned about our microphones, and so this is sort of going to be a very quiet preview through your TV screens, so no one jumps with their tea at home. All right, are we ready?
Oh yay, oh yay, oh yay. Pray attend, good people, the sun-kissed Isle of Sheppey, the historic island. By proclamation, let it be known across our fair island that preparations are underway for the grand and glorious Festival of Sheppey, to be celebrated throughout the whole month of June.
Amazing, brilliant, brilliant, very good.
And I was reading that in.
Okay, that's in. May I give it a go, Jenny, as well? I'd love to give it a chance.
Carry on where I
feel it's sort of. Oh, do I continue from there?
Yeah, onwards. Yes.
To herald this magnificent occasion, we seek a town crier for Sheppey, a voice of strength, clarity and pride, one who can command... I've been instructed to turn it down. Sorry, apologies, viewers. One who can command the square, captivate the crowd and carry the spirit of our island far and wide. There we go. Well, thank you, Ray. How did I do, Jenny?
Extremely well.
Thank you.
It's a pity you had to rein it in, but I think you've got the vote.
We will never know. We'll never know how well I could have done.
Unless you turn up on the 14th.
Oh, well, now I feel tempted. Did you say the 14th? Is it February?
Yes.
Valentine's Day. I'll see if I can make it. I'll see if I've got any plans.